Hi Paul, it's James here. The first super fight of the year took place on Saturday night. Manny Pacquiao versus Adrian Broner. And Manny really rolled back the years in scintillating fashion to dismantle the problem. Were you impressed by his performance?
I certainly was, yeah. His 70th professional fight, and I think it was his 24th or 25th world title fight of his career, 40 years of age. I mean, it's not bad at all. That's against a cautious Adrian Broner, I thought. And no, Manny Pacquiao just keeps on going, doesn't he? And he shows no signs of stopping either. And you know, there's still big fights there for him. Will he fight Floyd Mayweather again? I'm not so sure that's going to happen. I don't know, but there's definitely still big fights there for him. And delighted to see, because he's a good guy outside the ring as well. And it was I won't say a dismantling of Broner, but he certainly outclassed him for me.
Yeah, there's a lot of excellent fighters in that division. You've got the likes of Errol Spence, Terence Crawford. Is there anyone in particular you like to see Manny get in the ring with next?
Yeah, I think Crawford would be the ideal one for me. I'd like to see him fight Crawford. That's a fight there. Errol Spence as well. Both good fights. You've got Amir Khan facing up to Crawford as well, haven't you, soon? So would Amir Khan like a crack at Manny Pacquiao? I'm not so sure whether he would, but yeah, there's some big fights there. It's a great division, really. It's a great division, and no matter who you line up, Manny Pacquiao is going to sell out an arena, and it was great to see that arena so full at the weekend, and people will pay good money to see him because he's such a special fighter. And like I said, there, his 70th professional fight, that he's got to go down as a Hall of Famer there. It's a tremendous career that he's had, and like we said, he shows no sign of stopping. He's not as quick as he was, but he's a wily fighter, and he picks his punches so well, and the engine he's got is tremendous. And you know, I'd pay good money to see him fight, definitely.
Yeah, last week I think I described Adrian Broner as one of the most controversial figures in the sport, and he certainly lived up to that moniker when in his post-fight interview he wouldn't exactly accept the result. He was being rude to Jim Gray, the interviewer, and really to the crowd as well. If he doesn't accept his flaws, do you think he can ever really improve?
Well, no, excuse me. It's a strange one. I mean, if you're not going to accept things, and that's the only time you can learn things, can't you, and come back from them. You know, a lot of good boxers lose fights, don't they, and then come back and put things right. You know, work on things, and sometimes the attitudes of people like that, I think it's strange, really. I mean, if he can't see that he was beaten by the better boxer, it was a unanimous decision, and you know, he won most of the rounds, Pacquiao, really. So yeah, I don't think how you can learn from it if you're not going to accept the defeat. So he's a strange character anyway, but boxing's all about characters, isn't it? And we'll see where his next fight takes him. But you know, to say that you didn't lose that fight, I think he needs to wise up a bit.
Yeah, we've had another cracker announced on May 4th. Canelo Alvarez versus Daniel Jacobs. Potentially the best fight that could be made in the middleweight division at the moment. Obviously, when we think Canelo, we remember those robberies against Gennady Golovkin, but we forget that in March of a couple of years back, most people thought Danny Jacobs beat Golovkin and he didn't get the verdict that night. Has the middleweight division for you now come full circle, and is Danny going to reclaim what could potentially be rightfully his?
Yeah, that's going to be a great fight. It's a bit of a 50-50 fight, really. I mean, Alvarez looks good in the last couple of fights I've seen him. Very strong for that weight as well in middleweight. I always think he's a big middleweight, to be honest. But that's going to be a great fight, like you say. And, Golovkin's still around, isn't he? Whether he's going to fight at that weight or whether he's going to move on, I'm not so sure. But Alvarez against Jacobs, great fight, brilliant fight. And I wouldn't like anybody to make a prediction on that one, because I wouldn't really know where to go with it. I think it's going to be a terrific contest.
Hi, Paul, it's Matt.
Hi, mate.
One big shot from the weekend was Jorge Linares getting knocked down 3 times in the first round. What did you make of that?
Yeah, that was a funny one. I'm a big fan of Jorge Linares. I've seen both his fights with Anthony Crolla, and I really warmed to him when he came over to this country, and saw some of his open training sessions. And he's a lovely guy, a lovely character, and I started following him, and got quite attached to him. And yeah, I was really surprised at that. He was heavy-handed, the guy who was fighting, and to go down 3 times, that was a big shock. That was a really big shock for me. But no, I think Linares can come again. But when you get knocked down like that, your best days behind you. But that was a real surprise to me, that one.
Yeah, last boxing question of the day for you, Paul. Badou Jack on the undercard suffered defeat to Marcus Brown. A big shock. He received a cut, I believe, in the 6th round via a headbutt, and it really was one of the worst I've seen. Now, Badou Jack has had some absolute wars. James DeGale, Adonis Stevenson, Nathan Cleverley. A cracking career, but could it be towards the end now?
Well, he's 35 now, Badou Jack, isn't he? And, there's a lot of up-and-coming fighters in the division, the light heavyweight division, and I think Marcus Brown, he's one of those, isn't he? And I think he caught a younger fighter there on the night, and I won't say schooled him, but, once you start getting older in the boxing division, sometimes age can catch up with you, can't you? It was a unanimous victory for Marcus Brown, who really did excite me. I think he looked tremendous. But as you said, the head clash was terrible, wasn't it? That cut on his forehead, a real gash there. And I think that was in the 6th round. So for him to carry on there and go the full 12 rounds just shows you what a warrior Badou Jack is. And he's been a great champion, a great world champion. And as you said, had some really tough fights. But sometimes those tough fights can catch up with you, can't they? So we'll have to see where he goes from there. But Marcus Brown, the world's his oyster now. He looks a tremendous fighter, and we'll see where his career takes him.
Yeah, it was a cracking weekend of boxing, Paul. We'd like to thank you for coming on the show, and we look forward to talking all about it again next week.
Yeah, see you soon, guys.
Hi, I'm Daniel Murray from the Salford Red Devils, and you're listening to Salford City Radio.
Aside from the boxing, there was plenty of great UFC at the weekend, the biggest of the fights being Henry Cejudo and TJ Dillashaw. What was your take on it, James?
Yeah, it was a little cracking battle, only 30 seconds long. When Henry Cejudo took the flyweight title off Demetrius Johnson, that was a huge shock. It was another big one this weekend when he stopped TJ Dillashaw inside of just 30 seconds. TJ obviously was not happy at all with the stoppage, but for me, I thought it was fine. I thought TJ was done. He was dropped 3 or 4 times in a really quick period. He looked dry at the weight, and Cejudo was only ever going to come on strong. I thought it was a good stoppage by the referee, and the world's truly Cejudo's oyster now. He's rocketed up that pound-for-pound list, and hopefully he'll become a pay-per-view star.
Yeah, great fight. And the Greg Hardy and Alan Crowder fight, James?
Yeah, it was a shocker, really. Greg Hardy's had so much controversy surrounding him. He had those domestic violence charges in 2014. That lost him his contract in the NFL. He turned to the UFC. He's in the co-main event spot. He doesn't necessarily deserve it, but he's got it because of his profile. He looked good in spots, but he ended up getting disqualified use of an illegal knee, and that really didn't help him. He was booed by the crowd. It's going to be interesting to see where Greg goes from here.
Paige Van Zandt and Rachel Ostovich also fought at the weekend. What were your opinions on that one, James?
Yeah, cracking bout. Rachel Ostovich, obviously, for the background of this card and why it caused so much controversy, Greg Hardy has these domestic violence accusations against him. Rachel Ostovich has been a victim of domestic violence. They shouldn't really be on the same card together. But a lot of people, especially women's charity, have rallied behind Rachel, and I think she's a fantastic advocate for women who've gone through those problems. Unfortunately, she was on the wrong side of the result. Paige Van Zandt was the winner, and well done to her. She's a superstar. She's been on all the likes of Dancing with the Stars. She's extremely glamorous, extremely marketable, and I can only see her doing better in the future. And as for the Bellator, it's a cracking card this weekend. Fedor Emelianenko versus Ryan Bader, the headliner, the final of the heavyweight Grand Prix. One of these two men is going to get to call himself heavyweight champion of the world. For me, who wins? Going to edge towards Ryan Bader. I think he'll become the double champion, and as much of a legend as Fedor is, I think that's what he is, a legend. I think he's coming to the end now. Co-main event, Jake Hager. For those WWE fans out there, he's also known as Jack Swagger, an ex-heavyweight world champion there. He's transitioning into the real stuff now. He's an all-American American in the wrestling background, and I think he's going to upset a lot of people and have a really good run at this career.
Yeah, it's loads of stuff going on the boxing and the wrestling front, James. It's so exciting.
Yeah, absolutely is. Boxing, UFC, it's all tremendous, and we'll review all those fights for you next week.
Cool. Next up on the Sportszone, let's talk football.
I'm Wes Brown and I listen to Salford City Radio.
So let's start with football, Matt. Man United beat Brighton 2-1 this week. 7 games on the run now. Fantastic for Ollie.
Yeah, it's been a great run so far. 7 wins on the bounce, and it wasn't the easiest victory of them all. They made it look a bit difficult towards the end, but definitely a great win. And an individual takeaway is definitely Marcus Rashford's performance. I mean, the goal was sublime, the performance was sublime, and he's really coming into his own under Solskjaer at the minute.
Yeah, obviously, James, they talk about Marcus Rashford finding a new lease of life under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And, being a local lad, we're looking forward to see what he can do in a red shirt.
Yeah, Rashford is a tremendous player, obviously. One of the best young talents in the country, potentially the best young talent in the country. When Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came in, the likes of Rashford and Pogba as well have started performing like they should. That free-flowing football style that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has put into the side has been tremendous. I'm really happy so far. I said he'd do this for the side, and I think we're all proud of what Ole's done.
Yeah, 7 wins on the spin, Matt. You know, we're creeping up towards that top 4 spot. You know, a few weeks ago, us Man United fans, wouldn't even dreamed about getting this position. Can we make the 4?
Yeah, well, we're getting there, and I definitely think it's capable now. A few weeks ago under Mourinho, I would have said the polar opposite, but I definitely think it's capable now. The performances have been 10 times better, and the football, the attacking football, it's all been much better under Solskjaer. It's a huge improvement.
Yeah, it is. And obviously Tottenham, James, had a few injuries recently as well there. Harry Kane's gone. I think Dele Alli's out till March as well. Could be a problems for Spurs. That were United on the tail.
Yeah, it really could be. Harry Kane is an unbelievable player, and he's been a key part of their side, as has Dele Alli. I mean, it was only a couple of weeks ago we were discussing them potentially pushing the likes of Liverpool and City for the title. I don't think it's going to be their year this year. It's been disappointing for them, but ultimately in years to come I still think they've got a chance at that Premier League.
Yeah, let's talk about City now. They beat Huddersfield 3-0 away. Matt, you know, good result for Pep Guardiola's men, chasing Liverpool, trying to close the gap.
It's definitely a good result, and the performance shows just how strong the City side is. In the first half, they made it look easy. They weren't even trying, and they came out in the second half. Obviously, had a talking from Guardiola, and the game was buried within 10 minutes. They're definitely title contenders, even 6 points behind Liverpool.
I think, obviously, Liverpool are the front runners. Do you think it's easier to chase or be in front, James?
I think it's probably easier to chase. I think you've got more pressure on you when you're at the top and you're trying to maintain that position. The hunger comes from rising to the occasion. So I think whoever's top has the more pressure on them.
Yeah, and obviously, Matt, Liverpool, though, have kind of they've built into their history of winning titles and winning European Cups. Being in front now, do you think that's an advantage for them due to their history?
Well, I'm not sure. They made it look difficult against Palace at the weekend, and it'd be their first in a long time if they do go on to win the league, but I'm not sure. I really have no opinion on this one at the minute.
No. What do you think, James? Is it a thing with Liverpool? Obviously, championships, European Cups, playing in big games, winning big matches. You know, they're the team in front at the moment. Anyone to catch them?
I absolutely refuse to believe that Liverpool will win the Premier League this year. Not going to allow that to become a possibility or a reality in my head. Manchester City will catch them, and Liverpool, I hope and pray at night, will bottle it.
Yeah, but they've got some good players, Liverpool, and Jurgen Klopp likes to make them play a bit. And, you know, at the moment, yeah, they are struggling a little bit. Took a bit to get past it. Was it Crystal Palace at a weekend? It was kind of an opportunity to show their mettle. Matt, and they did. They got a result in the end.
Yeah, they had to grind it out, though. They really had to grind that result out. And with all the talk of them winning the league, they're going to have to keep on going, because that's one of the easier games they're going to have in this season. And City are right on their tails at the minute. Yeah,
and obviously Guardiola, James, he's a sort of a past master of this. He's won titles before. He knows how to reel a team in if he needs to.
He does, yeah. He's done it in Spain. He's done it in Germany. He's done it in England before he's won the Premier League. I think that with all the experience that he's got, that he will win the league. For us, Jurgen Klopp is yet to win a Premier League at Liverpool. He's not really won too much in this country yet. He potentially gets slightly more praise than his credentials have warranted. So I fancy Pep Guardiola and Manchester City to find a way against the odds to win the Premier League.
Yeah, obviously, looking at both squads, Man United have a big squad. Lukaku, not exactly, playing every week at the moment. Matt, do you think he still has a future at Old Trafford?
I definitely think he has a future, but with Rashford in the form that he's in, there'd be no justifying putting him in the team at this moment in time. I don't think Lukaku will go anywhere anytime soon. I think he's at United for a long time, and he's a great footballer, but at the minute it's Rashford's number 9 spot.
Yeah, I think obviously with Lukaku, James, he's a different style of player to Rashford, and Man United kind of have to adapt their style, don't they, when they play him up front. And, at the moment it seems to be working well with him and Martial. It's making them look a fuss.
Yeah, Rashford, he's quick, he's nimble, he's extremely technically gifted. Lukaku is just a massive beast of a man. He really is. Incredibly powerful up front. Rashford's going to do it with skill. Lukaku's going to do it with physical size.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting, Matt. Obviously, Marian Fellaini won't be playing for United for the next month as he's out injured. He's not really played much with Solskjaer at the helm. interesting time to see if he can get back in a team when he gets fit.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. But I don't think Fellaini is Solskjaer's way. I think Solskjaer's way is with the team that he's got now, with flair players like Rashford, Martial, Lingard, and it could be the end of Fellaini's time at United. We don't know, but it's be interesting to wait and see.
I suppose Fellaini, James, and Herrera, both similar kind of players, both kind of like to graft, put a tackle in. I suppose Herrera's a better player out of the two of them, in my opinion, and that's probably why Fellaini's not getting a show.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Ander Herrera is probably the slightly better player. He puts his all into every single match he plays. But I don't want to be too nasty tomorrow on Fellaini. He has scored some vital goals throughout his time at Manchester United. And although not being the best technical player, it's the same with Lukaku. He's a beast of a man. And he's good to put on last minute, maybe bag a header at a corner, something like that. Good player, Morrow, and I don't think he gets the praise he deserves.
Yeah, he's kind of built to kind of like be the extra shield, isn't he, around the defence, Matt? And, you know, I suppose that being a Man United fan, personally, I want my midfielders to have a bit more than a shield. I want them to play a bit. Yeah, put your foot in, make the tackles that need to be made, but I need a bit more off you.
Yeah, you want to see things like Pogba. You want to see the flair players like Pogba and the passing and make it all look fluid, because realistically, the midfield is not there at a club like Man United to defend out all the time. That was Mourinho's way. I don't think it's Solskjaer's way. I think Solskjaer's way is to start with attacking football and really go after it from the get-go. Yeah. And Fellaini's not quite got that.
No, he does try hard. This is fair, James. But for me, you know, he probably is looking for a transfer out if Ollie gets his way.
Yeah, potentially. I've heard rumours about him going to Italy, but that's not necessarily what I want to see happen. I'd like to see him stay at Manchester United. That would be my ideal preference.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Lots of stuff going on. Let's just talk about managers at the moment. Ex-Man United midfielder Paul Scholes is on the verge of joining Oldham Athletic as their coach, Matt. What do you make of that?
Yeah, it's an interesting one for it to be Paul Scholes' first job. I mean, there's not a lot of stability at Oldham at the minute, so I don't see the perks for either side personally, but it'd be interesting to know what Oldham fans thought of it. They've had a tough time recently, Oldham getting relegated, being near to the bottom of the division now, and it's an interesting one, definitely.
Yeah, I suppose James is a local lad to Oldham. You know, he's chance to opportunity to coach his local side, to kind of cut his teeth in the managing role as well. Kind of a ideal fit, really.
Yeah, I think he'll be absolutely perfect. He was always my favourite player as a young lad, Paul Scholes. Always loved him, especially for that goal he scored against Barcelona in the 2008-9 Champions League semi-final. As for how he'll do in management, I think he'll do terrific. He's an extremely good analyst of the game. He's got a footballing brain. You can see that with the passes he managed to produce in his career. I think he'll be a no-nonsense manager, and I think he'll get Oldham into good shape.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. Hopefully, Matt, he'll get an opportunity to manage at the higher level as well. Or do you think he'll just want to go back into his TV career if it don't work out at Oldham?
Well, you never know. You just got to wait and see how he does at Oldham, haven't you, and see where it goes from there. You can't predict things like that, but I like him on the TV personally, and I hope the best for him into management, but I'll have to just wait and see.
Yeah, talking about coaches, ex-Man United manager Jose Mourinho says he's turned down 3 job offers since his sacking at Man United, James. Do you think it's a big miss to the world of football? I think he needs to be back in the game as soon as possible.
He is. People give him a bad reputation due to his last couple of jobs at Manchester United and Chelsea, but let's not forget he was called the special one for a reason. He's one of the best managers on the planet, and being realistic, I can't see him being out of work for too long.
Yeah, he is the special one, Matt, and for all his flaws, he has won stuff, and there are probably teams and clubs out there that take him up in a heartbeat.
I would think so. Mourinho is a serial winner, and as far as managers go, he is box office, truly. His style of football didn't perfectly suit United, and things got worse towards the end, as it has done in his 3rd season at a lot of clubs, pretty much every single club so far. But I definitely think there's still a job for him at the top of football.
Yeah, but just before we go though, Matt, let's talk about Salford FC. They faced Gateshead at weekend and drew 1-1. Still rising high in the league, but 2 points dropped at home.
Yeah, they're still doing great, but it's a real missed trick for Salford. A win would have put them top of the league, with Leyton Orient losing 2-0 to Ebbsfleet. So I think it's a missed trick.
I think, obviously, looking at the season, James, Salford fans were probably thinking, we'll just survive this year. And the way they've kind of set off kind of puts that bit of expectancy on everyone, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's weird. Obviously, people weren't expecting them to do quite as well as they've done. And now they're doing so well, they're desperate to maintain it, and you won't be happy for anything else. I think Salford have had a cracking season. I think they're going from strength to strength, and I do see them maintaining what they've done so far.
Yeah, let's look at the fixtures this week. Man United are in the FA Cup against Arsenal away on Friday night, Matt. Big game for United, big game for Arsenal.
Yeah, really exciting fixture, and it'll be interesting to see whether either manager really goes for it or whether they put their priorities in the league, with both teams neck and neck for top 4 positions, so it's definitely interesting to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. We love the FA Cup, don't we, James? And when the big boys come together in the big occasion, everyone has to watch.
Yeah, Manchester United versus Arsenal's always a big fixture, and the FA Cup has sort of lost its magic somewhat throughout the last few years, but this weekend I think the magic will well and truly be back. It should be a cracking fixture.
Yeah, we're all get a bit romantic, don't we, Matt, about the FA Cup, and ties like that, that's what makes it all happen. But you got giant killings. That's the important part of the FA Cup. We've got lots of them to look forward to too.
Yeah, it is, and it's still a huge trophy, and I don't think no matter what anyone says, teams still love to have a little cup run, get to the final, get to Wembley. It's great. It's a great success for the team, for any team in the league, and United and Arsenal's going to be a great fixture to start off. Yeah,
City play tomorrow against Burton in the League Cup. James, I think they're safely through at 9-0. What do you think?
Well, you never know. Burton might push them close, coming back from that 9-0 defeat the week before. No, I think this is potentially the most pointless fixture in Cup history, but we have to play it. I think Manchester City will likely play a reserve side, give some of the youngsters a run out, get them some big match experience. As for Burton, after what happened to them a couple of weeks back, I think they will be up for it. They owe their fans a big performance, and I think it'll be a close fixture, believe it or not.
Yeah, and then City play Burnley at home, Matt, in the FA Cup. Who's to say what happens there? Burnley are a good side. It could be a test for City.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, but with City resting a lot of players midweek this week, I don't think they'll have much trouble. With how easy they make certain fixtures look in the Premier League, specifically Huddersfield just gone, I think City should cruise past Burnley.
James, you reckon Pep Guardiola have factored this in? Obviously, he's got European Cup, he's got Premier League, he's got FA Cup to fight for. Will he make the FA Cup a priority or not?
I don't think he really needs to. I think against Bertie he could play as bad a side out as he wants and still get through, so I don't think it overly matters. I think his main focus is, of course, on the Premier League, but I don't think this weekend will be too big a difference for him.